Hey everybody, welcome back live at Drew's house, Joppa Afternoon Drive. Hope you are doing well. Hasn't been, not a horrible start to the day, but it doesn't look like a great spring forecast. It's one of those New England spring weeks where there's rain and some cold and all that stuff. But I don't know, sun's out right now as we do this. So I hope you're all doing well out there and enjoying the spring season so far. Today, our guest is Bethany Dorau, first time on the show. Bethany is technically the executive director of the Old Newbury Museum. But you're also very involved in the Newburyport Literary Fest, which is happening this weekend. Very exciting. How are you?
It's the most exciting thing ever. I am just grand.
We can talk about all sorts of things now.
Yeah, thank you for thanks for having me on. I have a feeling I'll be back.
Well, yes, excellent. It seems like you know everybody here already, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, well, my sort of tagline is that I'm an inbred townie, so if you don't know me, you know my grandparents or my parents or...
Okay. Very good. Well, first of all, so it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, right?
It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday's the kickoff event.
Okay.
Saturday is live all day long with just some absolutely incredible sessions, and then Sunday is online. So we're doing a little bit of a hybrid event this year. We haven't been live since the beginning of the pandemic, so it's really kind of a big year. It's like a rebirth for us after being virtual the last couple of years. So...
What was the virtual life? Not as fun?
You know what? It's funny. I think everybody, as a historian, I'm always trying to think about the way this is going to feel in the future, looking back on this period of time. And so I think it's going to be interesting to see what lessons we took away from this whole time of being virtual. I loved how international it was.
Yeah. And
how it was possible not only for authors all over the world to participate, but for, viewers. I loved that. I think for some people, being able to sort of curate their experience in the way that you can when you get to set your background and, I think for some people it was more comfortable to be in that environment than standing in a room full of people live.
Yep.
So I just think that's going to be really interesting. I really enjoyed it. It's a long time of staring at a screen and not having anybody around you. But we had some incredible conversations in previous years. You can watch recordings of those sessions. It's all on the Newburyport Literary Festival website, but I'm really happy to be back with people again.
So you learn some stuff, like in every industry, I think. You learn some stuff that you can take away from the virtual living and all that, and you can put it towards this. For somebody who has never taken in a Newburyport Literary Festival, what does it bring? Tell the very beginner.
I think you will be absolutely blown away by the variety of writers that are present and the variety of topics. There are really well-known, incredibly well-respected novelists. Richard Russo is there. Andre Dubus is there. People that appear all over the world and are very sought after. And then there are also, real specialists in hyper-local or hyper-specific topics. I just... the one terrible thing about being involved in the festival for me is that I can't go see everybody else. Yeah. So, you're spoiled for choice. There's often multiple options at the same time, and sometimes we see people running back and forth between sessions. I guess what I would say to the first-time attendee is just take it all in. Yeah. And, if you can help the festival in the future, do it. We're going to keep doing this and having a wonderful time.
It's funny. I talk to music festival producers, all this stuff. Usually they all book their favorite artists, and they have these great lineups, and they go, that is the one problem. I really don't get to soak it in.
Yeah. No, you really don't. You really, and I guess that's... the session that I'm involved in is at City Hall, the most involved in, and we really do New England authors, so it allows us to do things that are, again, hyper-local, but also some sort of bigger picture authors. Yep. And I love every single one of those sessions, and I have to be there anyway, but, I don't see a lot of novelists and poets. Yeah. Which is sad for me, because, I'd like to, but...
I bet people show up there. I'm sure you get the case of people, that's one of my favorite authors, one of my favorite writers. They go. But I bet there's a whole level of discovering new people too. That's part of the fun of it as well, right? Just
100%. And I'll tell you just a personal story. I invited Eric J. Dolan, who wrote a book called Leviathan that I just loved. He lives in Marblehead. Okay. And he's a big, pretty well-known maritime history author. Didn't know him at all. He's now one of my very best friends. Oh, wow. I've been the first reader for the last 2-3 of his books. Wow. I'm not the first reader, but one of the initial readers that get the manuscript, and that all happened through the festival. I met him. We just clicked, became good friends, and he's come back again and again. And you just never know. You never know I started off sort of as a fan and
Yeah.
became quite good friends. He used some of the resources at the Museum of Old Newbury in his latest book.
Wow, very cool. Yeah, you were talking a little bit about that off the air, which I find fascinating. You mentioned you're, a historian. You can dig for anything, right?
You know what? I really can. And it's funny. It's like I think it's probably like my mother's a musician, and sometimes she'll just hear one note change, and then she just spends the whole day trying to figure out what other song that thing is in, or what period of time that there's. And I feel like that with history, you find some little thing, some little turn of phrase or little clue about somebody's life. And my favorite moments are when there's almost nothing else about that person in the record. And you find one thing. You find a note in their tombstone or something in their death record, or they appear in court, and you can reconstruct a whole human. It's like finding one bone.
Yeah, I never thought of it that way. Yeah.
And then this person who has nobody's remembering them, nobody's thinking about them.
Right.
Comes back to life in this way. It's really cool.
Oh, interesting. Again, we're talking with Bethany Dorau here. We have a crowd today. My goodness, it's busy. I've seen more people here today than... I don't know. It's interesting. A flood of traffic in our NCM Hub studios. The door keeps opening. I'm not used to that all the time here, especially in the spring. It's usually kind of quiet.
It's me.
You just bring in all friends?
Yeah, that's right. I bring the boys to the yard.
Very nice. So this thing kicks off Friday. Is there a, I'm sure some people spend all weekend here. You just, do people do day passes, or how does it?
It's free.
You don't need any pass?
You don't need anything.
Just show up?
There are a couple of ticketed, well, not ticketed events, but there are a couple of events that you need tickets for.
Yeah.
There's a dinner with the authors on Friday night at the Grog. There's a session at the Firehouse. Again, everything's sort of first come, first serve, but you do need to, for the special events for that, you do need to get tickets for the dinner with the authors. But other than that, again, my best advice, if there's a really popular speaker and you really have to see that speaker, just get there early. Maybe don't go to a session before that, and get yourself in the first pew of the church. Yeah.
Are some speakers, I would imagine, because it's funny, some authors, you'd think they're naturally equipped to handle questions about whatever they write, but I've met authors before who aren't necessarily, they don't like talking too much. Do you ever run into that?
Yeah. I definitely do, and I feel like some people are writers because they want to get so inside their own head. They love that experience of thinking deeply about things, but then expressing it in a different way. Writing it is one thing, talking about it is another. I think the best advice that I ever heard, I'm also a writer, so I have a couple of books, and I actually have terrible stage fright, weirdly.
Not
and the
that
best
weird.
advice,
it's more people than you think have it.
Absolutely, but I do it all the time. But I'm still, anyway, the best advice I got is that everybody in the room is rooting for you, and I say that to the writers as well. Like, everybody here is just excited that you're here. So
that's better than everyone in their underwear. That's, I think, that's the one you got told when you were in 5th grade.
No, the best advice I got about that was really that nobody in here wants to. Right. Everybody in here is rooting for you. Yeah. And that was, even if it's not true. Yeah. That was the best thing for me.
Yeah, it usually is true, right? It's funny. I think I tell this story every time the stage fright thing comes up. I remember seeing. Bruce Springsteen is one of my favorite musical artists, and I saw him on Letterman like 20 years ago when I first started getting into him, and he actually he just didn't do those well, like the late night talk shows, and I'd never seen him on a talk show really, and he was nervous. Yeah. Like just jittery and like just goofy, laughing goofy, and it was odd, and he knew it. So as soon as a moment came up to talk about a song, he asked for a guitar backstage because he needed something to play with, like to fiddle with. And I always think, like, wow, if Bruce Springsteen's nervous, it's interesting.
Well, you know what? I also feel like that, there's a certain extent to which that's a tool that you can use. Like, even Bruce Springsteen really wants to do really well. Yeah. And wants to be what you want him to, what is needed of him in that moment. I think that's... if it keeps you working hard and trying to do your best, I think it's okay to be a little nervous.
I think they say public speaking is second to death when it comes to fear.
Yep, I totally get that. Yeah.
So now we've scared all the authors for this weekend.
No, it's going to be fabulous. It's actually, it's funny. I think it's made it harder, especially for people that have any stage fright. All the technology, the technology aspect of it has made life a little harder.
In what way? Because
just that you're now sort of, a lot of people are expected to have a presentation, and now if you've prepared a talk with pictures and then you suddenly don't have any pictures. I actually prepared 2 versions of talks I give. Yeah. One with my slides and one if my slides don't work.
Gotcha.
And I've never had to use the one where my slides don't work, but it just keeps me from being terrified.
Yeah. Huh, that's interesting. I never. Oh, I wonder if this may be your friend here. I think we have more traffic. It's amazing the amount of traffic we have here.
That's wonderful.
So I think Vicki Hendrickson. Are you coming?
Oh,
Vicki?
wonderful. Vicki is the festival.
I'm guessing this is Vicki. We're going to do this
great.
on the fly here and see if this works.
Oh, I hear her. That's Vicki.
That's Vicki? All right, come on in, Vicki. So I will introduce her as she makes her way in. Vicki Hendrickson is the co-founder of the Newburyport Literary Festival. And you two know each other well, I take it?
Yes. Vicki and I go way back.
Hello, Vicki.
Okay. Wait, I'm not late, am I?
Hi, Vicki.
Oh, come on in.
11:30 is what I was told.
We're off and running.
Behave. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Go ahead and sit right next to her. Okay.
Come on in. It's good to see you. We've been talking all about the lovely weekend ahead. I'm Drew.
I'm Vicki Hendrickson.
Nice.
Drew.
Yes.
Nice to meet you. My
Come on
son's
in.
name is Drew.
Oh, okay.
So I should remember.
Is your son Andrew like me?
No.
Oh, he's an actual
Just
Drew.
Drew.
Okay. I think I had a conversation recently. You remember Drew Bledsoe, the old Patriot quarterback?
Yeah,
he's the-
kind of. Yeah.
I
I'm
ca-
not a big.
No, I know, but he
I
was
remember him.
he was big when
Yeah.
I was kind of going through elementary
Yeah,
school.
uh-huh.
And I told him one night that I think I'm Drew because of you. You were so popular then that. Oh,
My son is Drew because of a furniture store.
okay. A furniture store.
Well, my husband's name is Dyke.
All right, well, sit down here. We'll do it all on the microphone. Get
Oh,
comfortable.
no. We don't want to do this on the microphone.
Oh, okay. Well, then don't say it because we're off and running.
You're on it.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. Yeah, that's so cute.
I love the free-flowing atmosphere.
Yeah, yeah.
Bethany, you can pull that down just so it's in front of you, too. We'll get it good. Well, hi,
Yeah.
Vicki. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much,
This is
Drew.
lovely. This is our loose little spring show today.
Yeah,
big,
good.
Big
Loose
Friday.
is good.
Loose is good. That's the casual vibe we go
Yeah.
for. Friday, it all gets underway. You excited?
Well,
Exhausted.
what's a word we could use? Excited
flabbergasted.
is a word. Yeah. I mean, it's just been so challenging to come back from online. I mean, it was a huge challenge
Yeah.
to get online in such a short, because we decided like in February or something like that. I mean, we decided that we couldn't dare go forward. So it was a quick turnaround to get everything set up online. Thank heaven there are people who are technologically
Yeah.
bright, not me. And so it worked out well. I mean, it was amazing, I thought, didn't you?
It was wonderful.
I mean, we had incredible audiences. But then to come back the other way, the first thing you realize is that the expenses are like 3 to 4 times greater than they were when you're just doing it, on line, and also everything went up.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have heard about that.
Yes, the whole inflation thing.
You may
yeah.
never have heard about it, but anyway, it's true.
Popular word in the
Yeah,
news right
popular
now.
word, yeah. So we didn't have much money in the bank, so we had to do an all-out fundraising effort. And this is the thing about the people of Newburyport. You need them, they're there.
Oh, good.
I mean,
I was
I've
happy you
never
didn't say they're
known
the
a
worst. That would
community-
have been
Have you? Have you ever known a community like Newburyport? I mean,
I have not, and I think I never will.
I don't think you ever
will.
will either, because I don't know how long you've lived here, Drew, but
I don't live here at all. This is my
well, then-
second home. Yes.
No wonder you don't know.
No,
but,
I do. As a matter of fact, I do know. We had to raise money for when my wife was running the marathon a couple of years ago. And I made a lot of relationships here, and I said, maybe we should go see if Newburyport will help out. I cannot tell you,
Yeah.
every business,
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's just if they believe in it. And I'm an outsider. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee.
Are you? Okay.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I'm no Yankee. And so every time I went to a bank or anybody because I started Adult Ed also, and every time, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Let's do it.
yeah.
And is it going to work? Well, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
We hope. But so
convincing.
we started the literary festival in. We started working on it in 2005. We worked for 2 years before we had the first one.
Okay.
Because it's a lot of moving parts.
Speaking of moving parts.
Yeah, speaking of moving, yeah, you really sold that.
A little higher on the chair.
There you go.
Put my feet. Yeah.
Get comfortable.
Yeah, well, I love to fall, so anyway. So, but we had a good team. We had a great team that first couple years, and then a lot of people had to move on to other things. And our hero that had to leave for personal reasons, Jen Atwhistle this year. That was another huge loss because she handled practically everything.
Gotcha.
I mean, I would stand and smile and say, "Could you give me money?" And then I'd greet everybody.
Yeah.
She did the heavy lifting, and she was an amazing person. I mean, she still is, but
Yeah.
anyway, she had to leave, and so it's just taken every bit of energy we can come up with to replace her. I mean, 20, 30 people.
Yeah.
So you're telling me planning these things aren't easy?
Yeah, you're correct.
You are so intuitive.
That's what I'm
Mom,
taking out of
Mr.
this.
Intuition.
That's why I do the show here.
Yeah, you get the big bucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
Yep, I didn't say the big bucks. I just said I'm a good listener. But cool. So Friday, it all begins. Do you want to? So we talked a little bit. We covered some ground about who's coming and some of Bethany's favorites. You want to throw in some of who you're looking forward to?
Well, yes, I brought a couple of books. We're honoring Peter Orner,
Okay.
who you may not know of,
Here you go.
but
Yeah, show it right at the. Show it right here. Yep.
oh yeah,
There you go.
hi,
Yeah,
hi. We're honoring Peter Orner, who I totally love. I think his work is so beautifully wrought, and there's several reasons why this is a very good fit. First of all, I have a huge crush on him. I mean, that's number one.
Okay,
But
yeah, just
number two,
Let's get that out of the way.
yeah, let's get that move on. I mean, he's only 25 years younger than me, or
Well, he's only here because he's got a
than
huge crush
I.
on you. So
25. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
It's 2023. Things are happening.
Something
yeah.
like that.
Shame on Aaron.
Yeah, all right. But anyway, but he was in Andre Debus's original writing group. Now, this isn't the son, this is his father.
Okay.
And so we're honoring his father with some short stories and things like that. So it's a nice, full circle sort of thing. But he's been here a number of times.
Nice.
And he just has this wonderful style of writing that is, what would you call it? It's not overly flowery, but it's also very engaging.
Okay.
So, and then the second person, who is from Memphis, Tennessee,
All
thank
right.
you very much, is Alan Lightman, and he is, I think, head of creative writing at MIT, but he's a physicist and a creative writer. And this is just a beautiful book. He wrote Einstein's Dreams, which you may have
Yeah. Okay,
read.
there you go.
Oh, yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Good. Well
I
done.
forget about it.
Yeah.
yeah.
We get a
Thank
little.
you.
We get a little technology of our own in here.
Yeah, I see that. So anyway, so he's going to be great.
Yeah.
But Richard Russo's coming.
Oh,
I mean,
nice.
he's certainly a festival favorite. Everybody loves Richard,
Yeah.
as they should. And of course, Andre will be here, and Ann Hood. She's another festival favorite. So
How many of the authors are return authors? Would you say? Oh, do they keep coming back? They
such
love
a
it so
cute
much.
Question. Now, yeah, I mean, people do love this festival.
Yeah.
And so I would say we have probably 10 returns.
Well, at the city hall with the Newburyport, the sort of New England authors, we tend to have a little bit of a higher return rate.
Yeah, that's
we have
right.
local
Yeah,
folks,
and then the
but-
poets. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
and
we
the
probably
poets.
have 30.
Yeah.
30 or 40. Yeah, now that
Wow.
you mention it. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of people involved in the festival, and
Yeah.
the poets. There are always incredible international
Yeah.
voices there, but there's a core body of, local history folks and poets that
Yeah,
bring
and
in other
you know
folks.
about the Powwow River poets, right?
I have. Yes, I've heard about them.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. Well, yeah. I mean, that's a huge force in our
Yeah.
area, as are Bethany and Glee, and Jean Doyle, whom we
Yeah.
just lost. I mean, she and Dyke. We've got a big following for local history.
Takes an army here.
Sure does.
It sure does.
And a lot of the people that are writing about New England and more regional history are writing they're writing all the time. So there's
Yeah.
a new book every year, and they're going to come back with a new
Yeah.
volume, and they're always so passionately attached to their subject, and people are passionately attached to them.
Yeah.
So,
Is that? Are there some of these rooms I imagine where these conversations could probably go on all night, and you have to say, "Let's go home. We'll do it again tomorrow," or whatever.
oh yeah, we have to turn the place over in an hour, and that's
Yeah.
a challenge.
Yeah, it is. But we have places where people can gather. For example, Friday night you can have supper light supper with the writers. And
Is that the one at the Grog?
that's the one at the Grog.
Okay.
$25. You go online to register, and if you just go to the front page of the schedule and go down after Peter Orner, there will be a connection.
Okay.
So you can register.
Cool.
And you need to register. You need to register soon because the Grog isn't as big as the Masonic Lodge or other venues that we've used.
Yeah.
And so.
And they're not using that basement these days, I know, so. Or I don't think.
Well, we're using the second floor, which is
Yeah.
about a capacity of 130.
Yeah.
And but they're short staffed like everybody else, and so they couldn't send a slew of people over to another
Oh, no.
venue to
Don't I know it?
take care of us. So we're just
Yeah.
doing what we can.
I'm so used to the basement that you should probably take a look at it because they have. I was in there recently, and that's where they used to have all those underground music acts.
Oh, yeah.
And it's.
Oh, I
think they
have
got
had
chairs-
many a
you
belly
bet-
dancing recital.
I'm sorry.
Downstairs
Okay. Well,
at the Grog. Are you kidding?
This was not on my notes.
Yeah, right. I mean,
I'm glad-
there's more to me than you
I
might
am
think.
so happy I mentioned this. Okay, fantastic.
Wait, so what's there now? You have to tell now that. you
No,
can't
it's
be
just I
banning.
think they're not using it, so it's I think probably because of staff shortages and.
Oh yeah, absolutely,
and it's,
absolutely.
you know,
Because
it's sad. They have tables.
yeah,
and,
because they have. It's terrific, and it's got a great sound system and a little dance floor if you
Yeah.
were a belly dancer. And
like
they
storage
they
right
had a comedy night, set up. But I mean, everybody has got the same problem.
Yeah.
It's not just the Grog. I mean, everybody's
No,
suffering.
I feel it when we go out anywhere,
Yeah.
every place.
Yeah, the people who are working.
They
working.
are, and
Yeah.
I saw it again just recently last week. I saw somebody just get angry at some kid, probably making whatever, to work on this night, and it bothers me so much. But I will never come here again with this kind of service. I'm like, really?
What? Don't.
Like, you don't? Yeah.
Don't
like,
come.
I mean, yeah.
Who wants you?
It's like, yeah, he makes the rules. This guy,
Yeah.
come on.
It's hard
Like,
to be in a service industry at
Oh,
any time.
I don't know why it bothers me so much. I never even did the whole waiter thing. I did like other things, or did like Little League umpiring was my version of that. Don't yell at the umpires and don't yell at the servers.
No, That's
Yeah.
a thankless job.
Oh,
League
Yeah.
umpire.
I know.
My goodness.
Could do a whole
Yeah.
episode on all that stuff, but
Yeah.
anyway, Vicki Hendrickson, Bethany Dorau. We're talking about the Newburyport Literary Fest here, which begins Friday, and it runs Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'm sure you encourage everybody to take in all 3 days. I'm guessing.
Well, yes. Now Sunday is online, and you
Okay.
have to register because we wouldn't have your email to give you the Zoom connection. Am I right about that?
Yes, although
No, good.
the links are also available online. But,
Yeah, they are. I mean, I was
you'll-
just going to say, sorry.
Go for it.
I'm once you get me going.
This is how you two get things done.
This is why I had to get all my talking in before she got here.
Yeah, because once she turned on the switch, she can't shut up. But you have to scroll down past Saturday, and then you'll come to the Sunday, and you have to register, for each hour. However, when you click on the second one, it autofills, so you don't have to type in your name, your email address, and blah blah blah.
Gotcha,
all that,
gotcha.
yeah.
Okay.
It's easier than it seems.
Bethany had mentioned that it was terrible COVID. You never want to have to go through something like that, but we did learn, like every industry, learned some things about doing it virtually. That being said, how thrilled are you to be back in person?
Oh, I think really happy, and I think
Yeah.
well, I mean, I think more than our excitement about it, the people who are the audience participants, the participants, are really excited.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody that I've talked to, with one exception, which I'm not going to talk about,
Really wanted to keep it not in
I'm going to
person?
keep it secret. Is just thrilled,
Yeah.
because there's something, I don't know if you've ever been, but the people
Not to
are,
this, no.
all right, well, this is your year, honey.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Yeah, this don't stop now. All right, so once it begins, people are running around with their
Yeah.
programs, checking off which thing they want to go see, and they're all over town. So then for lunch, they go, we don't have vendors, we don't have people selling anything.
Yeah.
Not food, not clothes, not anything except books at the venues. So, it's a treat for downtown Newburyport. People just love
Yeah.
coming here and being part of it.
Go find your own way.
Yeah.
Great walking city.
Yeah, it is a great walking city.
And everything, all the venues are really walkable. They're all right
Right
Yeah.
downtown. So you can get from one session to another if you if you haul.
Bethany-
Not for me, because I'm trapped in City Hall.
Bethany mentioned something that every festival organizer I've ever talked to has said, that sometimes it's almost hard to smell the roses and take it all in because there's so much going on and there's so
Oh,
much
yeah,
to it.
that's
You're going
true.
to be able to do that this year? You're going to be able to breathe it in a little bit?
Well, I mean, I'm on a cane, so, I walk at the pace of a snail. They could probably win the race. But,
You get around pretty good.
yeah, so, I've always gone to a couple of events and just been there.
Yeah.
So, I think it's terrific to see the presenters, but it's just as terrific to see the audience
Yes.
and how engaged they are.
Yeah. Do you find
Because
yourself watching
we
the
need
audience?
readers.
Yeah, no doubt about it. How about reading in general? Because I see all the kids, they all read on their tablets now. I don't know how often. Do you read mostly actual books, or do you go to the tablet?
Oh no, I have actual books.
Yeah, strictly.
Way too many actual
Yeah.
books, but I listen. I
Yeah.
also listen. Do you listen to books on audio?
I do, but only after I've read them. I can't listen to a book on audiobook the first time.
Do you know
Really?
I have never done the audiobook thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't do it
Yeah.
the first time. If I've read it, then it's in my brain in that way, and then the
Yeah.
details of it will come back listening to it.
We
Or
talked
if
about
somebody's voice is really strong.
we talked about Springsteen earlier, and I almost did that with his book because it was a autobiography,
Yeah.
and I thought about it. And even with him, I didn't do it. That would have been appealing to me, but I just didn't do it. I don't know why. Maybe if I start doing it, I'll be addicted to it.
Well, it's a very it's good. I mean,
It's
you can
different,
learn
though.
a lot.
I don't know. There's
It's-
something to. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it depends on the kind of book.
Sure.
Like, if it's a mystery,
Yeah.
you can just, I go to sleep listening to somebody's mystery, and most of them, they're so similar that you can wake up in the morning and feel like you didn't miss too much. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
so,
sure.
oh, he did it. Well, there you go. Who knew? But for a book that really requires thinking, like these two books,
Yeah.
I mean, this book is so beautiful that, yeah. But anyway, but Alan's is also, because he's talking about spirituality and sort
Yeah.
of the connectedness of his whole world,
Yeah.
because he's a scientist, and he starts to feel this incredible connection when he goes up to Maine, especially because you can actually see stars and things
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
I get most of my. That's when I do most of my reading. Is summertime in Maine, near
Yeah.
the lake.
Now, where do you go in
And
Maine?
we have a place on Moose Pond.
Okay, I don't
Denmark,
know
Bridgeton
Moose-
line.
Oh, Bridgeton. Okay,
Yep,
yeah,
it's Shawnee
yeah.
Peak up there.
We have a place on the Sandy River,
Oh, okay.
so we go over there.
Very nice.
Yeah,
and
it is. It's nice.
I don't feel as good reading it from the iPad near
I
the
can't
lake.
do that.
It feels better with the actual
Yeah,
book.
yeah.
And we got plenty of those up there. All right. Well, this is exciting. So Friday it all begins. What time do we kick off Friday?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. All right.
Firehouse.
It's a good time to get things started.
Yeah.
Firehouse.
And then 7 o'clock is Saturday night is 7 o'clock.
Okay. My buddy John Moynihan giving you any problems over there? Or?
Oh, he's
No.
so good.
He's the
He-
worst.
Yeah,
He is?
that's
Tell him I
more
said
like
so.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
he's the worst. Never
yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
Forget it.
He's-
But you know
if he
who
gives
else
you
is
any
great
trouble.
is Nate Allard.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they're terrific. We're so lucky to have the two of them. Yeah,
They really
wonderful.
are great. Very, very good guys.
And I was also really pleased. I don't know if you went downtown last weekend, but the whole of downtown was turned upside down because of a potential gas
yeah,
leak.
I did see that right near my very near the Starbucks there.
Well, near the Starbucks, but every single road was closed.
Yeah.
And they were digging them all up and redoing them all. I
Dug
thought,
up today.
this
Yeah.
is a week before the festival? Are you kidding?
Yeah,
How
Parking and
adorable.
walking.
Yeah.
I know. Well, it seemed like they were working hard for you.
They did. I called Christine in the mayor's office, and she said, "We did it all for you."
Yeah, yeah.
And I said, "Well, now that's what I like to hear."
I got the mayor. The mayor's coming in right after you here today. He's
Oh,
gonna
he
say-
is.
yeah,
Well, cute
just for
boy.
you again.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, he's a great guy.
He is.
He's a terrific.
You really do need the help of if you have, I'm sure no mayor would want to get in the way, but like if you don't have cooperation, it doesn't work. These
But
things.
that's what I mean about Newburyport.
Yeah.
That is to me the essence of this town.
Yeah.
And that is if you're trying to do something for the town, you're going to get all the cooperation you need.
Yep.
I mean, that's been my experience.
What is your
anyway.
story? How'd you get here from Memphis?
Well, I went to college in Mississippi, and I thought as soon as I can, I'm getting out of here.
Okay.
I cannot
Yeah.
stay in the South. I don't like hot weather. Now, of course, now because of global warming, I just came back to where I started. But anyway, so my first job was at the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And then I went out to Hawaii, where my husband was, and snagged him. And then we met, though, at the Samoset Hotel in Rockland.
Okay.
And so we both loved Maine. And I love cold weather.
Yep.
So, I mean, I have a down-filled body, so what you can say. But anyway, and so then we, all these back and forth, and we found Newburyport. He was working for the Boston Herald.
Okay.
And we were living in Lexington, and which I did not like one little tiny bit. And so we came up here, and I went, wait a minute, ocean green.
Yeah.
Ocean green. Now, what do you want?
Ocean green and like a little more happening, right?
Well, green, I mean, like the green.
Oh, like environmental.
You know,
Yeah.
what do they call it? The town green.
Oh, like a.
Yeah, like
okay,
a pasture.
Gotcha,
Like the
gotcha.
common.
Okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
you've got the Minuteman statue
Gotcha,
and a green.
okay.
Okay, so here you have the ocean.
Yeah.
And you have a green too.
Good. Yeah.
But anyhow, so
And it's funky and artsy.
Yeah.
It's funky and it's artsy, and the people are not nearly as competitive and intense about their life, their children, their.
What in the heck was going on in Lexington?
Well, I don't know. My husband's a tennis player,
Yeah.
and I was living at wherever we were living before that, and he saw 17 tennis courts or something like that. And he said, "Oh, well, let's live here."
Yeah. I'm a
But-
tennis player too. Lexington always had good tennis.
Yeah. So
They used to beat up on us
that's
pretty
why
good.
I rented the house. But we found Newburyport,
Yeah.
and the other thing that was really cool
Yep.
was that we were driving down State Street to Pleasant Street, and you may not know about these guys, but there was Curly, who was bald. There was Junior, who rode his bicycle and had a cowboy hat. I can't remember all the names. There was Plum Island Helen. I mean, anyway, there were all these characters that hung out outside the door at Richdale's.
Okay.
And they looked well cared for. They looked, like they were part of the scenery.
Yeah.
And I thought, now this is a community.
I want to be a part of.
Well, but I'm not joking, because I thought if you're not going to see this in Lexington.
Right.
Move on. Get out of here.
There you go.
But
So you fell in love with this place.
I did immediately. You have to punch my off button,
No, we will
can't,
not
And
do
now
that.
she stands outside Richdale's,
No, yeah. Is that where we can find you
waving
now?
at people who just arrived in town.
I imagine you will be doing a lot of standing outside the literary festival, though. Do you encourage people to come say hello, or you just want?
No, come say hello to me.
Yes.
Everybody says hello to Vicki.
Yeah. I'm not a shy person.
Yeah. I can see that.
You
Very
can?
good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then I
no,
won't
you-
go on
It's
about
just
it.
the right person to run a festival that's all about talking and big ideas.
Is it? I mean, I know it's a lot of work, Bethany. We talked a lot about that, but is it? It must be like fun. I can even tell just these conversations
I
are fun.
get high.
Yeah.
I leave at the end of the day like buzzing, just on fire.
It's really exciting. Yeah, it
Adrenaline
is.
rush
Oh,
kicks
it
in.
really
and-
is. And there's if I can just give one, there's a session at City Hall that is a couple who inherited a bunch of photographs from Fran Dalton, who is
Oh, cool.
a Newburyport sort of
Legend.
legendary
Legend.
photographer, and just had this incredibly rich, interesting life, and took photographs of Newburyport life from the 60s to the 80s.
Yeah. When did she die? In the 80s?
I think she died in the early 90s.
Okay.
I remember her a little bit. But anyway, so they inherited thousands of pictures and slides
Wow.
because of a family connection. They have published a book of some of her most incredible photography, and they're coming to speak about the book and to speak about Fran
Oh,
at the.
cool.
and things like these are not people who ever saw themselves as writers, ever saw themselves as book publishers. They are driven by their love for Fran, and so they, and then there's this like little mini reunion of people that knew Fran or people that had their Fran took landscapes and art photographs, but also sometimes would photograph people's weddings or their kids' graduations. There was a real, she was really at the heart of that sort of part of the community. Anyway, so then you see these people who, this is the only way, this is the venue by which they think of themselves as writers. And watching them prepare to talk about this person that they loved at this festival has been so inspiring.
Those question and answer sessions must be so thrilling for both sides.
Oh yeah,
I would imagine.
And you meet people that it's like old home day. You meet people that that knew the person that or that live in the house of the person that picture is of, and it fulfills that human need to connect to people in your community.
Can be the first reader someday, maybe, if you bump into
the right person. There you go. Not the first. One of the first.
I know. Yes. You made that.
I don't want to overstep.
That's right. So it starts Friday. Again, Vicki Hendrickson, co-founder of the Newburyport Literary Festival. Bethany Dorau, executive director of the Museum of Old Newbury. Right before you got here, Vicki, I was about to ask what's the most interesting thing she's ever dug up. Do you have a favorite? Like, digging through the old history books?
The most interesting thing I've ever dug up? Yeah, it was yesterday at your old stomping grounds at the Library of Congress.
Yeah.
It was yesterday?
Well, yesterday I dug up a fact.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
This is my history nerd moment. So there was a fortune teller in Newburyport. Her name was Jane Hooper. She arrived out of nowhere wearing silks and satins and became so powerful in Newburyport society. This is right after the Revolution. She arrived about 1760, died in 1798. She became so powerful that ships would not go to sea if she said that they were not going to have a successful voyage.
Whoa!
And because people that are so much, she really cultivated this sort of larger-than-life thing. You wouldn't know anything about that, Vicki, but so people all wrote about her.
Yeah.
I found a newspaper article that was written about her anonymously. It was Madame H. while she was alive, which to a historian is like gold. It's incredible. It's the only record that I've ever seen from her lifetime. And the copy that is scanned by the Newbury Public Library was unreadable. And I had to find a copy of the Essex Journal and New Hampshire Packet from March 27th, 1793, and I called the Library of Congress, tracked down the one guy that had the keys to the newspaper vault. He went in the newspaper vault, scanned the paper, and sent it to me.
Wow. All right. See, those people at the library, aren't they cool?
They were amazing.
Tenacious,
Let me tell you, I'm going to shout out to Gary Johnson right now at the
There
Library
you
of Congress.
go. Nice job,
Library
Gary.
of Congress.
That is your
Very
tax
good.
dollars at work, but women power. Even if you have to tell fortunes to
Yeah,
do it.
right.
Good job. All right, Vicki and Bethany, final minute here. What do people, last thoughts here? What do people need to know ahead of the big weekend?
Well, they need to get dressed
Get dressed.
and come.
Brush their teeth.
Brush your teeth,
Yep.
get dressed, have your breakfast, or you could come have breakfast with the poets.
Yep.
And show up.
And, buy some books.
Buy
darn
some
it.
books, darn it. Yeah.
Love that.
These people, the authors also, I think we talked about how the event is free, but the authors also come for free. And I think that's really important to point
It
out.
is.
Yeah.
They are here because they want to tell people about their ideas, about their work, about their books, and of course they want to sell books. So if you have it in you to buy a book, or you were thinking about maybe buying that book, buy it at the festival. They'll sign it
Exactly.
for you. It helps everybody.
It helps everybody. Good.
That
That's
is
good.
too cool. Well, I know you're going to have a great weekend, but I wish you all a great weekend. No hiccups. I know this thing will go flawlessly. There'll be no stress throughout the
Thank you,
weekend,
Drew.
right?
No stress.
It'll be great. Vicki Hendrickson, Bethany Dorau, thank you both so much. It is the Newburyport Literary Festival. It begins Friday, and then Saturday, and then Sunday. Have fun, everybody,
All
right?
right.
And go
Thank
buy
you,
some
Drew.
books.
Yes.
See everybody.
Okay, go buy some books.
Sarah Hayden,
Absolutely.
Sarah Blackstone, May Power, thank you all doing all the hard work. Drew Moholland, live at Drew's house. Jump out from Drive. Peace.